Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon. Welcome to this September 11th version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, we're glad that you're here today. If you want to find us and find our content, if you go to EOA.network, type that into the browser, that will take you to a link tree where you can find all of the locations of our content. And like tomorrow night when we have a football game, that's a good place to be able to find where it is that you want to view it. So here in just a little bit, we are going to have Nick Vora, who is Union County's emergency manager. He'll be with us. We always have an interesting conversation with Nick. So how are you, man?
Good. It's first Friday.
Yeah.
We finally made it.
Yeah.
Is it Friday if you work Saturday and Sunday?
See, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you did the second Monday, first Friday thing,
yeah.
And that only works if you delight in weekends, and only if you have weekends. But
well, usually a lot of times I'll end up having Sunday free.
Yeah.
But no, this Sunday that I do go shoot a EOU women's soccer game, and lightning kept me up there from like.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was up there from about noon till about 6:30.
Wow.
Yeah, a game that usually takes about an hour and 45 minutes with the break, with the halftime.
Yeah.
Ends up being 6 hours. Yeah.
So then they just like suspended the game and waited. How did they even get a hold of everybody to tell them that, hey, we're starting the game again?
They just bring the players out. You have to pay attention. Yeah.
Hope that people are within earshot.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people go sit in their car if there's there. I mean, there's not a lot of people at a women's soccer game at EOU on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like a football game where they're
right.
You know, but yeah, you just have to, kind of pay attention and watch for the players, but you can't sit in the stands because they tell you to get out of the stands.
Because that's They don't
want
because they're all aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people in charge of the Lightning, which dumbfounds me, are the trainers. And it's like, because you're an athletic trainer, you're like a weather genius too. But I was talking to the game admin who was the lacrosse coach, and he was like, it's just their job. It's just something that somebody has to do, and they dumped it on the trainer. So they have to pay attention to WeatherBug, and they have to any lightning strikes within 10 miles.
Yeah.
It's a half an hour.
Oh.
Until you can get on the field again, and then if another lightning strikes 29 minutes later,
you got another
half an hour. Yeah, so it's just, and that storm came in, and it was supposed to keep going, and it just stayed for like an hour. So it was just lightning consistently, But with even lightning, I didn't see any. I saw one lightning strike. You know what I mean? But just because you can't see it, don't mean it's not there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean. So yeah, it made Sunday kind of a long day, but it was fun. I like the EOU women's soccer team, and I hung out with Benny's dad in the snack bar. He's like, "We're closing, we're going home." He's like, "I got free pretzels. I got a free pretzel out of the deal." Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Oh, well, good. Yeah. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Transform your home with Flex Steel and create a space that reflects your personality and style. Get started today by visiting Northwest Furniture and Mattress and selecting the perfect fabric option for your taste. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm, off Adams in LeGrand. LHS girls soccer got back on track with a 1-0 win over Fruitland on Tuesday night. That snapped a 2-game losing skid. They go to the Dowels a week from yesterday, so next Wednesday, the 17th at 4 p.m. LHS boys soccer lost to Nissa 3-1. They're off until a week from tomorrow as they head to Umatilla next Friday for a 6 p.m. kickoff. LHS volleyball lost their 4th in a row to the Dowels at home on Tuesday night. They go to Vail today and try to end that streak. That game starts at 6 p.m. Mountain Time tonight. LHS football has their home opener tomorrow night at 6 p.m. versus Tillamook, live streamed right here on the EOA network. Pendleton goes to Redmond for a 7 p.m. kickoff. Baker plays Marshfield at Sisters High School at 7:15. Ontario goes to Vale for a 7 p.m. kickoff, and the Dows hosts Astoria at 7 p.m. as well. More games around the valley. Imbler hosts Powder Valley at 7. Elgin is at Union at 7. And Cove goes to Adrian to play, I believe, the number 1 team in the state for a 7 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff. As for football live streams of LeGrand, Pendleton, and Baker home games, we're still looking for advertisers. Message us right here or email us at office@eoalive.tv. EOU football is at home on Saturday at 1 p.m. for Family Day. Kids get in free, and they also get a little ticket for a free popcorn. The number 1 EOU volleyball team goes on the road to take on Southern tomorrow at 6 p.m., and then they turn around and head down to Klamath Falls for a Saturday at 4 p.m. game. These are big games. First road CCC games of the year for this volleyball team. They're undefeated. They only lost 1 set all year. 1 set. They're 10-0, and this team is going to make a run again, and they have a really good chance at a national title. EOU women's soccer plays Central Washington today at noon. EOU men's soccer tied Hope International last night 0-0 and end their Cali trip with a game today versus Life Pacific at 10 a.m. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. EOU students get 10% off with their ID.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Life Pacific, that's where both of my younger siblings, went to school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a Bible college down in California, in San Dimas.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Hey, so let's look outside at the weather. And, man, I'm enjoying the coolness. In fact, when it got a little bit warm yesterday, I'm like, okay, here comes the heat again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So 75 today. Man, it definitely, the weather has shifted. I don't see any 90s in the near future. Some 80s over the weekend. Looks like it's going to be a really nice day on Saturday.
Warm.
Yeah. So we're going.
And then we get crap on Sunday.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to the Pendleton Roundup for the first time. I mean, I've never been, ever.
I've been a few times, but it doesn't fit into all it is a big drunk fest party. I mean, pretty much, like for most people.
Yeah,
so
well,
really
yeah. So that's not going to.
No, I mean, yeah.
No, but I tell you what else. I mean, so we're going to on Friday afternoon. We're going to the Roundup, and then Saturday night we're going to the Happy Canyon show over there.
Yeah, I haven't been in 20 years. 20, probably right around 20 years, maybe a little bit more. And like, it just doesn't fit. I think it's cool. I'd love to take pictures at it, like at the
Well, the reason
rodeo.
we're going is because my grandkids are going to be there, and so then that's kind of the main thing, give us an opportunity to spend some time with them.
That's good, yeah.
But you're right. I grew up around rodeo, and I wouldn't go to a rodeo just because I want to go to the rodeo.
No.
You go because you want to hang out with people, or you have friends that you want to go to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like going to a baseball game with teams that you don't really follow. It's like the only reason you'd go would be to hang out with people. So.
Well, and a lot of people go to just get hammered.
Yeah, right.
It's like some people need an excuse. When I used to drink, I didn't need an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter.
Right.
But some people do need an excuse.
To get hammered?
Oh, yeah.
But
their excuses are extremely broad. And it could be anything from my birthday to a rodeo to my kids' birthday to,
Yeah. Well, and I'm with you. I'm not sure I can understand that. That's not. But, all right, it's good. I guess I've never been in enough. I've never been a cool kid enough to really be invited to the crazy parties. So, You're not going to comment. You're just going to leave that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, well, I don't think you even have to be to go
get
to a
hammered.
rodeo. Yeah.
I know. It's like, yeah, I suppose so.
Like,
But
you
again,
don't have to
but
be
yeah, but who
invited.
wants to? I mean, I suppose who wants to go and just like get drunk by themselves?
I think that quite a few people
Do
do.
they?
Yeah, and then that that loosens them up, and they
And
talk to
they
people.
become super talkative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you? We have some, like, you imagine Lee Wright drunk?
Oh my God!
I mean, and Lee is.
Thank
Lee
God
would
he
never.
doesn't
Yeah,
drink.
Lee would never do that. But I mean, he's. The point is, somebody who is
He's already got so
super
much
friendly,
energy. Yeah.
or super out there. Sober.
Energy through the roof.
Yeah.
Talks all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it would be. Maybe it would be the opposite on him though.
Maybe so. I mean, you would know. Or there's some people that are like super happy, and then when they get drunk, they're.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, and then there's like when I used to drink, when I got drunk, I was the life of the party.
Were you?
Heck yeah. Yes.
See, and I don't know that I've ever been to that point ever. So,
Well, I won't be to that point anymore.
yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, hey, there was a strange little rabbit trail that we took. All right. So, hey, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Nick Vora, Union County Emergency Manager. All right, we're back. Union County Emergency Manager Nick Vora.
Good morning.
Always a pleasure to have you, man.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on this morning.
Yeah. How are you?
Doing well, staying busy. Nothing too dramatic keeping me busy this time. That's exciting to talk about. A lot of administrative type tasks.
Yeah.
But
Well, before we jump into it, but we were just talking. So, like during Pendleton Roundup, you're working for Umatilla County. I mean,
yeah, so is Union County Sheriff's Office
Yeah.
assists them
Yeah.
with extra staff. So Sheriff Bowen has been over there already this week helping them, and my schedule hasn't allowed me to go over there yet this week, but I'll be headed over tomorrow and Saturday to help them out.
So then, like, and I know this because Kyle is my son-in-law. He's a sheriff's deputy, and so, so when there are events like Chief Joseph Daves or those types of things, they're out of the county, then there's an opportunity for guys to make a little bit extra funds and go help them. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, so typically every circumstance is slightly different, but usually when a deputy from Union County goes to assist another county,
Yeah.
that other county will pay the deputy, but they will remain an agent of Union County,
Okay.
dressed in Union County uniform.
Okay.
Because it doesn't make sense for another county to
Right.
try and equip someone for 2
Right.
days.
Right. And so then, do they give you radios, or how does that work?
Again, it depends on the circumstance. So say if we're going to assist a county that we have a compatible communication system with, we can use our own radios.
Okay.
In the case of Umatilla County, they're a slightly different system, so then we borrow radios
Okay.
from them.
Oh,
But you wear Union County gear,
Yes.
but they pay you.
Yeah,
That's
it's...
strange. That's weird.
And then there's, in some circumstances, there's situations where they might pay the county.
That's
and
what I was
that would
wondering.
pay
That
us.
would make
So
more sense.
It just really depends on the circumstance. And yeah.
yeah. Well, cool. Well, glad that you're here. So, yeah, but now let's talk about something that made your life a little interesting yesterday.
Yeah, so we had a regional 911 outage
Yeah.
yesterday that affected quite a bit of area.
And what happened? Tell us about that.
So yesterday, I believe it was around 10:30 or so in the morning. I don't know the exact time. An outage started to be noticed in Baker County, where they lost their internet and their phones, and not just the 911, but their landline as well as the 911 line. So that's obviously very impactful to not have internet or any phones.
Yeah.
So they had to switch over to receive 911 calls on cell phones in their dispatch center.
Wow.
So that definitely is a huge handicap compared to normal operations, because normally dispatchers are able to see what we call anti-alley, or the automatic name and location information.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see who's calling and where they are. But if you're just getting it forwarded to a cell phone, you lose all that. So.
Right. So, and then also the route. So if it's a regional thing, then those calls are coming in and they're being routed to a particular place,
Yeah,
right?
so there's, at the state level, when you call 911 from your phone, the phone company is able to pull some of the information, such as your location, and pass that through along with the call. And then when it gets to the state, switching equipment is able to recognize, okay, that call is in Union County, we need to send it this way. And then it gets routed to the Union County Dispatch Center. And the way the system is set up with redundancies, if, say, Union County Dispatch Center was completely offline and we're having calls routed to another 911 center, it would recognize that's traffic intended for Union County, we need to send it to the appropriate place.
And then somehow then all that information is coming up to, so let me back up just a little bit. So let's say somebody's driving down the freeway and they see an accident or whatever, and they call 911. Or somebody is in an accident and they call 911. Then that's going to be wherever they are. If they're in Western Oregon, or wherever they are, is going to be routed to the nearest 911 center.
If with a cell phone,
yes,
it will go based on the GPS location of the phone. Initially, if you don't have a GPS location, it will go based on where the tower is.
Okay.
And oftentimes, though, the phone knows where it is enough so that even if it's not a super precise location, it's enough of a location information to get it to the right county.
All right.
And then while the call taker is on the phone with the person, they're able to get a more accurate GPS location on the call.
Okay. So then there are those situations also where your kid will be clear across the country. They'll be in a jam. They'll call you, and they'll say, hey, will you call 911 about this particular thing? Yeah. And then that person will dial 911. Well, they're being routed locally when actually they need to alert the 911 center where the person is.
Yeah.
So how does that happen?
Well, that could, depending on how far away. So if it's like within Oregon, we can, and I say we generously, our 911 call takers can route the call pretty easily and forward between different what we call PSAPs, or public safety answering points. But say if it is a township 911 center in New Hampshire that it should be going to, and you call and get answered by a call center in Gillum County or something, they're going to have to go find that number, which will obviously be a little bit of delay while they go look that up. But it happens. It's not. It's rare, but not uncommon. Yeah. That we'll get that type of thing.
So then go ahead and continue talking about how did that impact us locally?
Yeah, so what happened is it started, as I understand, the situation was precipitated by a damage to a fiber line.
And this isn't, where at?
I believe it was in the Pendleton area.
Okay.
I don't know for certain, but that's my understanding of the situation. And that impacted, and just it's interesting the way networks work, how that impacted Baker County first, and then Grant County also lost I believe their phone lines, and their 911 was impacted. Then Union County, we kept our business phone lines. That was all working normally, but we lost our normal 911 routing. So 911 calls were being routed through the business line. So dispatchers didn't have access to that location and name information that you would normally get, which made their jobs a little bit more difficult on having to, when you're talking to someone, make sure that you're getting a real accurate location. Normally, if someone calls 911, they're always going to ask, where are you? And you can verify, yep, the location on the screen that I'm seeing matches where they're telling me.
Yeah.
We know we can confidently send people there.
Yeah.
But when all you have is what someone's telling you on the phone, requires definitely more work on the part of the dispatchers to make sure that's accurate. So, and then Wallowa County was impacted after us. So, as I believe it was, the fiber situation started first, and then there was an issue with the network card in the switching and routing equipment that was impacted. I don't know if it was a consequence of the fiber cut or something else. So it was kind of a twofold issue that had to be resolved. And by about 5 p.m. yesterday, everyone was back to normal operations.
So what were the people experiencing that called?
So it varied depending on what county they were in. I can't speak for other counties, but for Union County, what was happening is if someone was calling from a landline, they were getting the call answered by the 911 service provider for the state, by one of their operators to determine what county the person was in.
Yeah.
And then they would route the call to Union County, where it would ring through on our business line. And if it was a cell phone, it was ringing through automatically to the business line. And they didn't have to go through that other operator step.
Wow.
How many 911 calls are there a day in Union County, roughly?
I don't know. So
You
that
don't
would
know?
So that would be a question. So
That would be,
Rhonda
yeah.
Griffin is the manager of our 911 center, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of what I'm saying just by association, and but is really I don't manage that. That's something that the LeGrand Police Department and Rhonda Griffin, she does an outstanding job managing.
I mean, I
that
can't
for us.
imagine that there's a ton, right? I mean, we have, what, 13,000 people? Well, Union County, 27,000.
You'd be surprised, and especially on something like, imagine a traffic crash on the interstate, that a lot of people drive by, they call 911. That could easily generate 15 or 20 calls to 911
That one incident.
with one incident.
Yeah.
And so imagine that's going on while a dispatcher is also getting a phone call from someone who may be on the business line wanting to report that their border collie got loose, and then someone else is calling 911 because of an unrelated medical. So it's not uncommon at all to have 2 unrelated 911 calls, or even 3 happening at the same time in Union County.
I got a number.
Okay.
AI gave me a number. It says in 2023, mind you, approximately 16 calls a day. 5,829 calls in 2023.
Okay.
So that's 16 calls a day. What does that break down to? Less than 1 an hour. So how many times do you think it happened, or do you know that? Like how many?
I
how
don't
many people
really
were impacted?
during the service
Yeah.
impact yesterday. I don't know.
What I feel sorry for is that person who works at the company who all of a sudden the phone that doesn't ever ring is now ringing. You know, I mean, and they're hearing somebody panicked on the other end, and the first thing they got to say is, you know, where are you from? What call center do you need routed to? Yeah. I mean, there's somebody, you know, the way those systems work is like, clearly, if it doesn't get routed to the right place, somebody else's phone rings, and they've got to pick it up and get it transferred and deal with it. You know?
Yeah, I know there was definitely some very hardworking people at the phone companies yesterday getting everything sorted out.
Those
Well,
guys have a tough job. Man.
Yeah. Well, and that is that it's really, you don't think about. I mean, there's all of this. The number to call when you're digging is 811, right? Is that right? I think
Yes.
that is. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And the reason that's so important is because of incidences like this. So, because some kind of a fiber thing like that can impact a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, why did it impact the 911 call center and not the rest of the world, or the rest of our little world here?
Yeah, and also I guess different counties like Baker County, where they had a landline phone and internet impact with the fiber line, and I am getting quite outside my area of expertise here. That with different data is moved on different lines or trunks. So the one that was impacted yesterday was clearly not one that was carrying a lot of our local internet and phone, but it was what was carrying some 911 traffic. Initially, our 911 traffic wasn't affected. I think what impacted us was more of the repairs later in the day, possibly with the network card issue, whereas Grant County and Baker County were directly and immediately affected with the initial fiber cut. So
that makes sense.
That, at the risk of saying something that's wildly incorrect because I don't fully understand how the fiber network runs, that's essentially different traffic on different lines, and it was a line that didn't directly feed a lot of Union County, to my knowledge.
Well, and and one of the things people may or may not have tracked is over the years, stuff has gone to where it's mostly over IP now, and what that means is, it used to be when I was a kid, you had copper phone lines that ran to every house, and now the copper has gone away. That still is used in some places, but you have so much more information in a single fiber, and that's good and bad. I mean, as good as you can move so much more, a lot more information. We can have fast internet at our house and so on and so forth, but that being damaged is more impactful too, because you can have, so anyhow, it's super complex, and sometimes those problems are hard to find.
Yeah, that's something that it's getting pretty well out of my area of expertise there, but it's definitely the changes recently. If you think of just back in 2000, I was thinking, it doesn't seem that long ago. I guess it's been a little ways ago now. But that's in 2000 is when Oregon started getting the automatic location and identification information with phone calls. Prior to that, with 911, that wasn't something that we had. Yeah.
So talk to us about where we are, and I know that this is a question that Rhonda would be able to answer and so on and so forth, but where we are as far as adapting some of the advances that are in the 911 center, and where can you see, do you have enough information to know when we are going to take the next steps?
So next steps like text to 911 and stuff like that, or what we call next generation 911. That's something that the state of Oregon is actively working to upgrade infrastructure to be able to handle that type of traffic. We currently have, there's different technologies in use at different dispatch centers that allow them to varying degrees to handle different types of technologies. For example, one of the things that we have at our dispatch center that most dispatch centers have as well, if you call 911 and hang up, or when the call is disconnected, we have the ability to see the location on the phone for up to 10 minutes afterwards while someone continues to move. So that can be really useful if someone calls 911 from a vehicle and maybe the call disconnects. We don't know which direction they're traveling. Are they eastbound or westbound? Being able to see that. Or maybe just if someone's moving or like out walking on the street, you get a pocket dial, or any variety of things you can think of being able to continue to see the location of that phone after the person disconnects. And so there are some advanced features like that we already have access to. And in coming years, depending on how different systems get funded to be built out, we should have universal texting to 911 before too long, regardless of where you go. But that's still a work in progress, not just in Oregon, but other places as well.
Interesting. So, all right, well, tell us what else has been going on in your world. You did get some grant funding. Talk to us about
just
that.
2 days ago, we were notified that Union County was a recipient of what's called SPIRE. I don't know the name of the acronym offhand, but it's a state-funded rather than federal-funded equipment program for emergency response. And what Union County got was $144,000 worth of equipment in an award. We don't have the equipment yet, but it's something that the state will be purchasing and then issuing, for lack of a better term, to Union County. It'll be tri-band radios for interoperability between first responders. If, for example, Umatilla County has a different style of radio system than we do, so it will allow people from Union County that have VHF radios to go to Umatilla County where they have a 700 megahertz radio system. Or if Umatilla County people come here, we could give them the radios to talk to us on our VHF system.
So, kind of like some kind of a big event and you're needing outside help.
Yeah,
then,
like
right.
Pendleton Roundup,
Yeah.
for example. Be
Right.
able to, well, if they need help and we're sending law enforcement, EMS, whatever that might look like, to go supplement, we can bring our own radios with us.
Yeah.
All right, SPIRE, State Preparedness and Incident Response Equipment. That's what
Awesome.
SPIRE is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you become aware of, because I know that you raise a lot of money, you go get money from grants and stuff. And I mean, that's one of the things that I think that you're good at. And that's super beneficial to Union County because that's money that Union County wouldn't have for equipment and stuff. And how do you become aware of those things, that pool of money is there and can be applied for?
So that can be half the challenge
Yeah.
of grants, is finding out that it even exists. But typically, a lot of the state and federal emergency preparedness grants are quite well advertised in the emergency response community. So there'll be a notice of funding opportunity that's usually distributed to emergency managers saying, heads up, this grant program is going to open in a week. It'll be open for 2 weeks, and then, excuse me, and then the applications will be reviewed. And also, usually they're reviewed by a committee of, at least in Oregon, of locals. So the SPIRE grant program, I was on the review committee for. Obviously, we can't review our own grants. So they divide it regionally. So I had no part in reviewing applications in Eastern Oregon, because otherwise I would be ranking stuff that would potentially be competing with my application. So I reviewed applications on the west side of the state. And then other people from the west side of the state reviewed applications from the east side. And they choose local agencies for people who are hopefully on the ground a little bit more in tune with the needs of first responders and able to identify kind of, is this ask something that is really necessary based on how it's articulated, or maybe not. So the state does a really good job with not just having the state program and just state agencies determine who gets it. They bring in people from all over to evaluate.
Interesting. And so, just off the top of your head, give me some highlights of funds that you've been able to get that have come in.
So, on the emergency services side, which is the kind of narrow view that I have, there's obviously grants related to all kinds of other stuff that Union County gets. As far as emergency services go, we received grants to update our radio system. That was $2 million we got in 2023. We've received funding for a generator, for a lot of other communication stuff, to upgrade door locks at the sheriff's office, we've received equipment for our sheltering supplies and mass casualty incident response that went to the City of LeGrand Fire Department as well as the county. We've received funding from Wild Horse Foundation, has been a very generous and ongoing sponsor of a lot of our local agencies, including emergency services. They've paid for us to send people. I got a grant from them to send our local LeGrand Fire Department medics to a tactical EMS training to help them support law enforcement, and bought a lot of training supplies for local first responders with money they've provided. So kind of, and also our Swiftwater Rescue Team, search and rescue across the board.
Yeah. So in those kinds of things, do you, I mean, I know in our system, you know, in the studio and the equipment that we use, I've always got a thing of like, well, it would be nice to have this. I mean, that would be nice. I mean, does your mind work that same way?
Yeah, I always have a mental list of things where it's like, okay, if I find an opportunity, and sometimes grant writing is, people use the cliche of like fitting a square peg in a round hole. I think I would describe it more of there's just being able to articulate how something has more than one use. And if I need, for example, a trailer full of supplies for running an emergency operations center, if our main emergency operations center wasn't functional for some reason, maybe a broken water line, that facility is not available, we need to go somewhere else, to have a trailer full of that equipment. Now, if there's a funding opportunity, for example, the State Homeland Security Program, which has requires a terrorism nexus, it's a matter of articulating that this equipment during a terroristic attack or violent extremism, something like the tragedy in Utah yesterday, something like that, if we need to set up an incident command post, an emergency operations center, immediately we can't use our normal one. This equipment will allow us to do that and be more resilient to an act of terrorism or extremism. So it's versus just saying, well, if an emergency happens, we need to be prepared for it.
Right.
So a lot of just articulating the connections between. Now, if I wanted a snowmobile, articulating how a snowmobile would allow me to be more prepared for terrorism, that'd be a little bit more difficult. But could potentially say, well, we need to be able to patrol rural areas at all times of the year and potentially track fugitives if someone were to go on the run and maybe they had over the snow equipment and the agency applying for the snowmobile didn't have it, to be able to do interdiction and detection 365 days a year in all environments. That's why I need the snowmobile. So it's a lot of finding the right way to articulate the need.
I get that. So do you love filling out forms?
No.
No, I was going to say, that would be, I mean, sometimes when I will get some kind of an application or a form and it wants my name and my address and all of that. I mean, one of the happiest things I love about a computer, you know, when you're filling that, some of that stuff is already remembered and it just, you know, puts that in the spaces, you know. Does that a little bit daunting to you sometimes?
So a lot of the grants are more of what you say, not how many words you say it in. So as long as you have an idea of like how I'm going to articulate that I really need this snowmobile for this purpose, it's trying to figure out how you're going to articulate it, and from there it goes pretty easy. Some of these grant applications, it's a maximum of 3 to 4 sentences per question.
Okay.
So you have to be very concise. And then others allow you to elaborate.
But you demonstrating like that a snowmobile is not only for search and rescue, but it could be for pursuing somebody that is, needs pursued, or those multiple applications will be like, well, this county is demonstrating that they will use these funds in a broad manner. Yeah. So
it's a lot of fun. It's an interesting challenge to try and figure out, like, we need this for a lot of reasons, but this funding is very specific to a certain reason, of which is included in our broad list. How can we make sure that we're able to articulate that we'd be able to use it for this need in addition to all the other things that it would be useful for?
So what, and I experience this to some degree with our stuff, and that is that, but with stuff, it has to be maintained. I mean, let's say you have supplies, emergency supplies. Well, they're going to have expiration dates. They're going to have, if you buy a pool of radios that are available for loan, do you keep them charged all the time? I mean, how do you just manage maintaining stuff? Is that overwhelming sometimes?
That can be a huge challenge, and that, I think, is also something that I consider. If I'm thinking of applying for something, I'll often have a conversation with our county administrator about, hey, this is something that I think we need, but this is the cost of getting it. Because while equipment might, if you get it on a grant, and then, like you said, the maintenance, who's going to maintain it? An example of heavy equipment is a great example. Something like a snowcat. It's an incredible resource, but very expensive to maintain. It requires specialized certifications and training, but not only by the operators, but by the maintainers. So there's conversations that we usually have prior to applying for something to make sure, is this something that long-term into the future, that with our existing financial resources and personnel resources, we'll have the ability to maintain, because it can almost be more of a liability to acquire something, develop a capability that you can't continue to provide, and people get used to having it, and then 10 years later it goes away because you couldn't afford to maintain it. So that's something I try to avoid, and I don't want to get add a capability that we won't be able to maintain into the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, so let's take like a pool of radios, for instance. They've got to be charged.
Does programming updated and
but
like
I mean, just even once all of that is done, if somebody goes to grab them and they're not charged, if you have an incident, then where do you have a special place where you put stuff like that? I mean, how do you manage?
So in the basement of our county law enforcement building is the Emergency Operations Center, and in there we have a room where we have a cache of radios that are available for deployment. And so it's my responsibility to maintain them, make sure that the batteries are in good shape, that they're charged, that the programming's up to date, and that also that they're tracked, so that if someone checks one out for an incident, that we get it back from them and we get all the parts and pieces back. And so that it's definitely, over time, it adds to a little bit of a workload, but that falls under the umbrella of my responsibilities.
Yeah, that's a new room for you guys, right?
So that is a room that we've had, but we do have a new room for search and rescue.
I got those confused.
Over this past summer, we built at our search and rescue equipment building, and that's been really exciting for SAR.
Yeah, and is that out by the range? Is that
yeah, and I apologize. I should have thought to bring some pictures with me to share this morning of it. But out by B&K Auto Salvage, by the police department range, that's our equipment building. And in there, with the generosity of the county commissioners that provided some county funds, as well as Wild Horse Foundation, and then just the community donations to search and rescue. Those three funding sources we were able to pool together and build a room inside the building, which is essentially a pole barn full of equipment, and build a heated and cooled room where people can respond to. We can print maps there. We can store battery-powered equipment. Before, the temperature cycles were so wild with the sun and heating and freezing that battery-powered stuff couldn't be stored there, but now it can. So being able to have our search and rescue radios out there and keep battery packs for cell phones and headlamps, even basic stuff like that, that we didn't really have the ability to very effectively store before out there. And now we also have some laptop computers and screens, a printer, and whiteboards, and a map on the wall. And so it allows us to have more of a volunteer fire response model, which is really efficient. Everybody knows there's a call. We go to one place, get the gear we need, brief, and go, rather than, okay, who's going to go to the sheriff's office and grab radios? Who's going to go get the truck? Who's going to go and get something else? It allows us to have a much more efficient response model now.
Wow, that's awesome. How big is that space that you built?
So it's approximately about 12 by 24.
Okay.
So it's not a huge room.
So about the size of the studio, something like that?
Yeah, slightly narrower.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really great compared to what we had before.
Right.
People running different places.
Well, and that's
trying
kind
to
of
get
what I
stuff.
think of. I mean, it is just daunting for me to keep up on equipment, you know. So like, we've got like 6 little cheap radios that we use for Shrine football, okay? We bought on Amazon, and they have a little charge. Well, we use them sometimes throughout the year, but most of the time, when I went to get one this last year, you know, one of the batteries had gone belly up, you know, and so then, but keeping that up, you know, the stuff that the batteries that need charged and plugged in, and the modems, and it's just, there is a tremendous amount for our little operation. There's just you know, and so I can only imagine what that is like sometimes, you know. So
Yeah, it's a lot, and we're really blessed to have volunteers that help with maintaining all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because just myself trying to bounce around and maintain everything, it would be fairly overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful. Like, just an example, I got a text message from one of our volunteers yesterday evening, said, "Hey, just a heads up, on Friday I'm going to plan to go out and check everything at the SAR building, check on the equipment, and I'll let you know." And so having people who do that type of stuff out of the goodness of their heart and on their own time is what allows us to have the diversity of equipment and capabilities that we have. So
Awesome.
I'm really grateful for that.
Let's just switch for a little bit. We have a few minutes left here. You've seen a lot of stuff over the time period. Emergency situations where people need rescued, and where, people are deceased, or, you know, what are some of the more challenging things that you can think of as far as rescues that have been, that for just a minute it was like, how are we going to do that?
So
you know?
there's one that really comes to mind for me that was actually not in Union County, was mutual aid that we provided to Umatilla County for you might remember, a man who fell out of a tree stand.
And I had thought about that one.
So generally, when people ask me, like, what's something that just like came out of left field, where it's like, whoa, I hadn't thought about how I'd approach this before. So a gentleman was hunting, fell out of a tree stand. He didn't have a commercial-style fall protection harness. He had a rope tied around his waist. And so when he fell facing away from the tree stand with his feet caught underneath the seat and the rope around his waist keeping him from sliding farther, but he essentially is hanging upside down. And he was like that for a very extended period of time, I believe almost 2 days, before someone just wandering through the woods noticed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we, with OTEC, went out there and helped us on that call. And one of our OTEC linemen and I went up in the bucket truck, and we rigged a rope system in the tree up above him, and put a harness on him, and then we're able to, using a rope system, mechanical advantage, lift him up. He went into cardiac arrest almost immediately because of the compartment syndrome and restricted blood flow, dumping all the potassium into his bloodstream. And then the paramedics on the ground, once we got him down, did an awesome job with CPR. He ended up making a complete recovery.
Was he conscious when you got there?
No.
No. How long do you know? Was there a way to tell how long he had been out?
Well, he was conscious.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
But once you tipped him up, he went
Yeah.
unconscious.
Wow.
That's crazy. 2 days hanging upside down.
So that was, I mean, that's one that is pretty out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Right.
And then a lot of the others, as far as rescues, we've had some that took several days due to snow conditions, where we had to spend overnight with our patient and then make a rescue plan, create a trail. We've had some where we've, with the help of Forest Service fire crews, had to create access to get someone out of the situation that they were in. And where that's taken a small army of people with chainsaws an entire day just to create a route where someone could leave. We had someone in a watershed. The name of the watershed is escaping me at the moment, but to the southeast of Walla Walla. I believe it was last year or the year before, was that situation that took a real extended period of time to get someone down the hill. And then we've had other ones where, due to snow, I've had people stay with the patient, and then myself and others have gone and cut through blowdown and jackstrawed stuff. Just on Labor Day weekend, we had a call for someone who had a knee injury where they couldn't walk normally, but it wasn't a critical or life-threatening injury. They just couldn't walk.
Right.
So we were able to partner with the Blue Mountain Backcountry Horsemen, and they provided us some packers with very solid, capable horses, or actually mule, that they went in with us and were able to give a ride out to the injured hunter, which was the most efficient and lowest risk relative to trying to do some sort of air evac or bringing in 20 people to carry him out on a litter or something like that. Because it takes about, I would say, probably about 20 people to actually carry one person out on a litter.
Wow.
It's far, like 4 people can carry someone.
They carry them out on a, what did you call it?
A litter. So like
litter.
a Stokes basket.
Okay.
We have wheels that we can put under them that help, but if you're truly carrying someone and bearing their weight, I would say about 20 people is the minimum that I would.
Because they're doing a little bit, and then you've got to rest.
Yeah, especially going uphill, it's remarkably exhausting.
Oh.
That if you've ever had to carry a really heavy suitcase through an airport before with all wheels got popular and you're packing your 50-pound Samsonite suitcase, like if you're doing that, but it's on a trail, like that gets really exhausting.
I would liken it to packing out an animal. I mean, very similar.
Yeah.
Like you usually quarter it, and a quarter of, probably about the same weight as a quarter of a human. You know what I mean? Like a big elk. And you take a lot of breaks.
and also you're not able to like have it on a pack.
That's
it's
true.
lopsided, so you're constant, like your whole core is activated trying to offset for the weight of the litter.
Do they have anything like that, like a shoulder harness?
They do. It's been making its
it?
way around the internet. There's a video of a team somewhere in the eastern U.S. I don't know where. They made a system where it's like two pack frames for the people across from each other with a pole that goes between the pack frames, and then there's a strap from the pole that goes down to the litter to hold it. And that would work as long as you're on a trail where you can be 3 people wide.
Right, yeah.
Which, or if you as soon as you have to go over logs, the litter is going to start pitching and rolling pretty wildly. So those type of things, it looked pretty homemade. I've never seen a commercial version of that. Just like the trails we have around here, it wouldn't work on. But it's an interesting idea.
No, I remember when I grew up in Wyoming, and we would go deer hunting, and we somewhere along the line we got one of those kind of a litter, kind of a stretcher with a bicycle tire in the middle of it, and you think, oh, well, this is going to be cool, and I think my brother and we were both young and healthy, and once we got the deer on there, it was a tremendous amount of work. I mean, it would have been I think it would have been easier just for us to have drug it up rather than to have tried to carry it. So I can only imagine you know, those situations and you're rescuing someone. So that's tough. Well, Nick, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Always
Yeah.
a pleasure.
Yeah,
Being on the
and
show with you guys.
maybe next time we can see if we can plan. Maybe we can do a little bit of video, and you can kind of show us the SARS hangout, and you know.
Yeah,
and,
that would be great.
yeah, and so then we could have something to give us. We can look at it. So
Yeah, it'd be awesome to showcase and also let the community know with all the donations that we receive over time from the community that we're incredibly grateful for. What type of stuff we're able to use that for.
Yeah, well, and how fortunate it is for you to be able to work with so many great people. And you brought some of those guests here before, and no, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, want to get us out of here?
Let's do it. On this day, September 11th, 1853, the first electric telegraph used between Merchants Exchange in San Francisco and Point Lobos, California. 1916, on this day, the first true self-service supermarket, Clarence Saunders Piggly Wiggly, opens in Memphis, Tennessee. 1946, the first mobile long-distance car-to-car telephone conversation takes place. 1970, on this day, Ford Motor Company introduces its first North American subcompact car, the Pinto. My dad had a Pinto. 1977, on this day, the Atari 2600, originally known as the Atari Video Computer System, is released in North America, revolutionizing the video game industry. 2001, obviously, 9/11, the tragedy that struck the United States, caused the death of 2,606 people. 2023, on this day, U.S. sets the record for number of weather disasters in a year. 23 weather disasters in the United States, costing more than $1 billion in less than 9 months. On this day, the number one song in America in 1995, You Are Not Alone by Michael Jackson. And the quote of the day comes from John Wooden. Champions never complain, they're too busy getting better. One more time. Champions never complain, they're too busy getting better.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Nick. Appreciate
Tomorrow
it.
night,
Yep.
tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, we'll probably go live around 5:30. Maybe a little bit later than that, 5:45. LeGrand versus Tillamook.
Now, and is it 6 or 6:15?
It's a 6 o'clock game.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.